Welcome to the Modern Homesteading Podcast.
We have allowed ourselves to become so disconnected and ignorant about something that is as intimate as the food that we eat.
Be prepared to grow your own for victory.
God said, I need somebody strong enough to clear trees and heave bales, yet gentle enough to yean lambs and wean pigs and tend the pink-combed pullets who will stop his mower for an hour to splint the broken leg of a meadowlark. So God made a farmer.
Hello and welcome to the Modern Homesteading Podcast. I'm your host, Harold Thornborough, and glad you're joining me today. On this episode, we're going to be joined by Jillae from Wanderin Barefoot Farm. She's going to talk to us a little bit about the things she's trying up there on her homestead over in Illinois. And, I think you're going to be really encouraged by all the things she has to say. Just doing a whole bunch of really neat stuff there. And I think she's where a lot of people want to be. And I think she's well on her way to being where she wants to be. So, she's just kind of like right there in the middle. You know, a lot of folks we get on, they're just starting out, and we get some people on that's been doing it for a long, long time. And I feel like just Jillae is like right there in the middle. You know, she's really doing some really good stuff, and you can just tell she's gonna have everything she wants on her homestead one day. So before we get into that, though, I usually talk about the things that are going on my little homestead, but honestly, there ain't a lot. For the last couple weeks, you probably noticed I missed a couple episodes of the little 5-minute show I was doing, and I was just really sick. I had like an upper respiratory thing going on. It ended up having some chest pains and some really high blood pressure, I'm assuming because of that, and it actually landed me in the hospital for a couple days, but I'm starting to feel pretty good now, so I think it's all over for the most part. And, it was had a little bit of a scare there, though, as just hadn't really had to deal with anything like that for a while. And like I said, I went to the emergency room because I was actually having chest pains, and they admitted me and spent the whole next day just running tests and doing all kinds of stuff. And I've had to do some follow-up with some doctors, and there's still some more tests we're going to have to run, but I feel a lot better. So I think I'm doing better. But yeah, I haven't been doing a lot around the homestead, though, because of that. And the weather hasn't been great for that anyway, but today it's in the upper 50s and it's sunny, and we're going to have like all week long it's going to be upper 40s and 50s. So I think spring's coming, and I think the weather's going to turn around here real soon, and we're really going to get some things done and get some things in the ground. I'm still looking forward to getting a few trees planted here on the homestead real soon. And, but other than that, it's just kind of hanging in there. That's where we're at. So, with all that, let's just jump right into this interview with Jillae. I think you're really going to enjoy this. So let's get started. Well, Jillae, welcome to the Modern Homesteading Podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have you on, and you got a lot going on, it sounds like, just from our little bit of correspondence on Facebook. It sounds like you got a little farm happening there right where you're at, and I can't wait to hear more about it. Yeah. So,
it's been awesome.
You're over in Illinois, right?
I am, yeah. So we're not far from you even.
Yeah. You'll say you're kind of northern Illinois?
Yeah, we're about 45 minutes west of Chicago.
Okay, yeah, you're not too far away. Well, and you moved up from Texas, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I'm from here originally, so I've actually had this property that we're on currently for about the last 6 years, and I was living here prior to that, and my husband's from Texas, so he wanted to move down there and be closer to his family, and so we did a short stint there and quickly realized that we wanted to come back up here. So
preferred Illinois to Texas. You don't hear that very often.
Yeah, I know. We were really south. We were in Corpus Christi, so almost to Mexico there. And it was great as far as, we did just tons of saltwater fishing, and there's nothing better than fresh fish from the Gulf. It was pretty amazing. But as far as the economy went and just, we actually trekked down there with all of our animals and tried to do a little homesteading there, but our land was so bad. It was like almost like it was people buried garbage, because every couple of days, the chickens would like dig up all this garbage, and none of our plants would grow. And so we just really missed this lifestyle, and we have such an amazing setup up here that we just came back. So
yeah, I understand that. I mean, I love warm weather, and I mean, winters are kind of tough, but there's just something kind of healthy about the four seasons and getting to experience it all. And
totally.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, my husband's big on, summer all year round, and I love the winter. I love snow. I love fall, so I missed it a lot, and so I'm glad we're back up here.
Yeah, I can't say I love winter, but I also understand it has some importance for the homestead, so I appreciate it.
Totally.
Well,
so everybody gets a break.
Yeah, right. So how did you get into this lifestyle of homesteading? I mean, is it something you grew up doing, or is it something you wanted to do, or what?
Yeah, no, not at all. Actually, my parents, my family in general comes from like a long line of the, traditional kind of American dream route. Go to college and start their career and start a family and all that. And I've always been a little different. I think what kind of started it all was I had a health scare myself back in 2016, and I was just diagnosed with PCOS, which is a polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I had 3 surgeries that year, and they told me like I could never have kids, and that, I'd probably have to have more surgeries and all this stuff, and I wouldn't be able to, maintain a healthy body weight and all of this stuff. And I started researching nutrition, and I think that's kind of what led me into where we are now. But now today I'm pregnant, 6 months pregnant, and
Wow.
I haven't had PCOS in 5 years just from changing my diet. So,
Oh, wow, that's quite a testimony to good food, healthy food. Yeah.
Yeah, and it went away pretty quick. I mean, they told me it's apparently, I put it in quotes, an incurable disease, but obviously that's not true. And the year after I started, a pretty plant-based diet. I'd still eat meat, but I was just very cautious of, where I got it from and the quality and all of that. And I went back a year later with a clean scan. So
wow.
I truly think food has just so much to do with everything. It is everything, and that too. I know your story as well. And so it's just, and then it kind of, as we got into the factory farming part of it, it kind of turned us off completely from buying store-bought food as far as meat goes and all that stuff. And we just started growing our own, and that kind of spiraled out to where we are now. So
that's great. Yeah, I hear that testimony from a lot of people, how food just really helped them do better. And my opinion is it doesn't cure everything, and it doesn't mean you'll never be sick or anything like that. But
totally,
but it sure does make a difference in your health, for sure. And
oh yeah,
I think so many of our problems stem from just unhealthy eating anymore. They really do.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, in the Midwest, we have such a culture of, not, and even in the South, not eating the best.
Mm-hmm. So
once you kind of turn that track, I mean, you can feel it in your body and your energy. And yeah, it's pretty amazing what a little good, healthy food will do.
So you're growing and raising most of your food now?
Yeah. So we're definitely far away. We have a lot to go here, but we are getting closer every year to, staying out of grocery stores. So we have, right now we've got about 30 chickens. We have 1 goose, a couple ducks, a few ducks, some quail, and, last summer we had pigs. So we still have pigs in the freezer, but, and we're just kind of getting closer to raising all of our own meat that we want to eat this year. We're getting pigs again, and getting a couple Black Angus cows from down the road, and starting bees as well. And then we have about an acre of a garden.
How large of a property overall do you have?
We're just under 6.5 acres here.
Okay, yeah, quite a bit of room then. Okay, great. Well, it sounds like you're doing a lot then, yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to get a lot done before the baby comes, so that hopefully I'm due in June. So of course it's like at the peak time.
Right, it'll be busiest time of the year, and you got an extra thing going on. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, totally. So we're trying to, start our seeds now, and try to plot out everything. We have a big field, so we have to, mow that down to get the garden tilled out, and yeah, it's just all sorts of crazy, but it's been just amazing to jump in. We started with 6 chickens, of course, which I think how most people start. And then it quickly blew up into all of these things.
That's how it happens. Yeah. Well, so now you're starting seeds pretty early then right now. I mean, you're starting them this early where you're at. That's probably a few weeks earlier than what you would really need to. Are you going to be doing like some market gardening or?
Yeah, so we are starting super early. We haven't started all of our seeds right now. We just have like arugula, kale, broccoli, cauliflower, and some onions started.
Okay.
So we're going to be selling transplants this year. We've had a lot in the past, like we'll always sell our leftover plants that, we just can't fit into the garden, and people seem to really go crazy about that. So we've gotten a lot of messages asking about that. So we're kind of just upping our seeds this year to sell a little extra, get a little extra profit from those. So we started pretty early, and our lettuces are going to be able to go out pretty early. As far as our broccoli and cauliflower goes, we wanted them to be bigger before they go out. We started like with smaller transplants last year, and they just didn't do that well. Last year was kind of a weird year for us too. I don't know how you guys did over there, but
it was really the worst year of gardening I think I've had.
Yeah, us too, man. It was just so rainy and crappy, and we did not have a good year. We do have old grapevines, which is amazing. And the grapevines did awesome. So it was a good year for the grapes, but other than that, our tomatoes were pretty bad. We had a good squash year, but it wasn't amazing. So hopefully this year we get good weather, but so we're just trying to start stuff early, especially in preparation for June. So we're trying to get everything in the ground as soon as we can. Our predicting here is May 1st is the last frost date. I'm not sure how it is everywhere else, but that's what they're predicting for this year. So we'll see, but we're starting early for sure.
Now talk a little bit about that for a second. What kind of a setup do you have for starting seeds? Do you just have some shelves in your house and some grow lights, or what do you got going on there?
Yeah. We have, right now they're just on the kitchen table.
I've been there.
Yep. They're about to move downstairs. Actually, my husband, as we speak, is building out our grow room in our basement. So we're blessed with a built-in root cellar down there, which is amazing, and also just a completely open basement. And my husband's a contractor, so it's really nice to have him around. He can do anything. So he's building out a room down there right now that he's actually finishing up, and it'll be temperature regulated, and we'll have all the grow lights in there, and it'll really help bump up our process.
Sure. That's great. I know a lot of people are moving to that, to having the indoor rack systems and just getting a lot of grow lights going, and it does work really well. You're right. I mean, in previous years it's been kitchen table, and as soon as I could get warm enough to get them out in the greenhouse, I'd do that, but it seemed like a lot of it was starting all over the kitchen table, and my wife's giving me dirty looks because we can't even eat at the table anymore. But we get
totally. We use every ounce of counter space we have. We're just like, screw it. But it's
gotta get it
nice.
done.
We haven't done the grow room before, so we're that's a new thing that we're trying out this year with our seeds to see. And we also really want to get into microgreens, which I know you do a little bit of that too. So we definitely want to get into that. It's just we're in a really lucky, and we're in just such a amazing community of people that are, very much so moving towards small farms and homesteads and buying their food locally, which is awesome. So we have a ton of support, and people are actually asking for these things, which is cool because it pushes us to do them when they're already on our list. But how it goes. Your list just keeps growing. So
that's great when
people start asking.
Yeah, when the market comes to you and you don't have to create a market for something, that's a way better deal. Yeah, absolutely.
Totally. Yeah, and it's cool because we do this for ourselves, and I started a Facebook page last year, and it just kind of blew up, and it's crazy. I work at a restaurant in town, and sometimes I'll mention the farm, and they ask the name, and they're like, "Oh, I follow you on Facebook," and it's so crazy to have that kind of recognition already.
Sure. Yeah. That is a weird thing when people outside of your normal community recognize you from online. That is weird.
Yeah, totally. It's really strange, but it's cool because, we love sharing this and educating people and, showing them that it's not hard to homestead even, from your apartment or wherever. It's so easy to just grow your own food. So,
Oh yeah, I mean, you're no doubt. I mean, it takes some space to grow everything you want to eat.
Totally.
You're on several acres, and you're finding you're not growing everything yet, and you may never grow everything or raise everything, but boy, you can do so much wherever you're at. It's something I just point out all the time, and people probably get tired of me saying it, but it's so true.
Totally, yeah. I mean, we're not even scraping the surface really of what you could do, but yeah, it's fun to just. It's such an amazing lifestyle, just being able to work outside all day, and it's so rewarding. And yeah, it's just been super amazing, and learning like every day. The pigs were such a big lesson. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We got 3 spotted pigs last year. They were about 8 weeks old when we got them, and we did a pen with just electric wire in our wooded lot. We have in front of our house is a nice, probably an acre of woods, or maybe an acre and a half, but we set them up back there, and they flipped that plot into just a total mud pit in less than 4 days.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
They can root it up.
Oh gosh, yeah, it was insane. By the end of it was just like, we would get stuck in the mud, and we were like trying to figure out how to move them, but they were afraid of the electric wire, even when we took it down. They're just so smart, and the whole process was such a huge learning situation for us. Like loading them into the trailer was, oh my gosh, it was laughable. I wish we got it on tape. But yeah, my husband actually had to lasso them and drag them to the trailer. It was so bad.
Yeah, if a pig don't want to move, it's really hard to move it.
Oh yeah, and they weren't even full size, and that was another lesson. The whole thing was just such a learning process, where this year we feel much more confident, and I'm glad that we did it last year and learned kind of the hard way. We should have been free feeding them, and we didn't. We fed them, 2 or 3 times a day, kind of from a recommendation, and they just didn't even get to size. We still got a ton of meat off of them, surprisingly, but when we dropped them off at the butcher, they were so much smaller than the other pigs. And we were just like, okay, we got to change what we're doing here. But it was so fun to learn. And I actually met someone who raises pigs in New York, I think off of your Facebook group. And he talked to me, the night after we took them for about an hour and a half, and just gave us tons of knowledge that would have been so nice to have just a few hours prior.
Oh yeah, it's nice to have somebody kind of talk you through things on things like that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and just the community in general has been super helpful with, information, and, especially on your Facebook group has been amazing. So yeah, it was quite the experience with pigs. We're going to do it again this year, but we're doing it totally different. So
yeah, it's been a few years since I handled pigs, but we grew up with them, and I had them. We always had pigs up until I moved out as a teenager. But yeah, I mean, I remember the experience, and they are smart, and I mean, just a great animal to raise. But in a lot of ways, there's a learning curve to them, and you got to learn how to handle those animals, because they are, totally. Yeah, they're pretty independent, and when they want to do something, you better be able to control that, because they'll just do it otherwise.
Oh yeah, and they're stubborn, and yeah, all they have to do is stand still, and they ain't moving. So
yeah, right. Well, that's great. So, and is your plan to always just raise the animals pretty much just for your food, or are you going to be raising them to sell products from them as well, or?
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of requests for that. And right now, as far as the cows and the pigs go, we're just raising it for us and our immediate family. I do have quite a few people that have, contacted us about pigs or buying half a pig, and we're open to the idea, but we don't want to get too large on that, because we have a good sized property, but we're very strict on how we raise our animals. We want them to have the best life and have a ton of room, and
absolutely,
happy animals. So we can't really fit all that many on our property without jeopardizing that, So, yeah, we're going to kind of see where it goes. This year we're going to get 3 again. And we're going to just raise them up again and see how we do this year with them and how much meat we get off of them being full grown this year instead of, half grown like last year.
Yeah.
And see what that does for us. And I think we'll probably end up selling some meat from our own stash that we get, because our pigs were small this year. I think they were like hanging weight 70 pounds, and that's really small, Yeah. But we still got so much meat that our freezer is still full. So, and we're about to get them again. So it comes with a lot of meat. And when they're full grown, it's like a 200-pound pig or plus. So that's going to be a lot of meat that we're not going to be able to eat. So I'm sure we'll sell it individually for now, but I think eventually we'll maybe sell half pigs or whole pigs to the community. But it kind of depends on how we do this year with the size lot that we're going to have for them.
Yeah. Well, you have quite a few of the smaller livestock varieties. I mean, you're doing chickens. Are those meat chickens or just egg layers, or what do you got there?
Yeah, they're hybrid. So we have a lot of Rhode Island Reds, and we do a lot with them as well. We butcher them ourselves, but we don't sell them to the public just because we don't have that license to, or the kitchen to do it. If we took them to a butcher, we would, but we do it ourselves here. And yeah, we use them for meat and for eggs. This year we're getting 30 more chicks, and we have some variation in there, but we are getting some Cornish as well to try to do a little bit of meat chicken this year, and see how those go. But yeah, we do a lot of chicken, a lot of eggs. We do sell eggs to the public because now we're getting about a dozen a day, and we just can't eat that many.
Right. We have quail also, so you're probably getting quite a few eggs from those as well.
Yeah, we actually, quail was another thing that we had trouble with. We actually had like a bad male. So when we moved back from Texas, my father-in-law in Texas has a small homestead as well, and he sent us back with 13 quail. So we brought them back from Texas with us, and they're Bob White quail, so they're okay up here in the north. But yeah, our male, once they all kind of came to, we had 3 males in there, and the rest were female. And so first the male, the dominant male, killed off the other 2. And it happened very quickly, like, within 24 hours. And we were able to separate one of them and have him recover, but the other one was just kind of beyond recovery. He would actually peck the back of their heads. I don't know if you've ever had this problem.
Well, I don't have Bob Whites, but I have Coturnics. And I think they're a little different. I prefer them raising those, but yeah, I've absolutely had them tear each other up pretty good. And I've had to couple, they haven't actually killed them, but I've had to put them down because they were so bad. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what we had to do, unfortunately. And then he started attacking the females, though. And that was the weird part that we didn't really understand. And so now we have 2 out of 13.
Oh, wow.
And we lost them all, very quickly, and it was terrible. And we just did tons of research and tried to figure out what was happening. And everyone was like, you have a bad male. And so we separated the 1 male and the 1 female. We separated them for about 6 months, and we just threw them back in together, and now they're fine. So
that is strange.
Yeah. So the whole thing with the quail has been crazy weird. Luckily we were able to, get a couple that weren't too bad yet and be able to process those. We separated some ahead of time, in order to not lose a food stock out of them, because we just wanted to try them and see how it was. And so we were able to get a little bit of food off of them, but yeah, these 2 are still hanging out. So we're going to see what happens. I'm not sure how I feel about breeding them with this male.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
Maybe those are a little bit more aggressive of a bird than the Coturnics quail. I know the Coturnics, like I said, I've had a few of them that were aggressive here and there, but for the most part, they live really well together and just do really well.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So you said you do Bob Whites?
No, I don't. I actually know somebody that does them, but I just do the Coturnics. Yeah.
Okay.
Japanese quail.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we've talked about trying those and seeing how that goes better, because these 2, she's not laying right now either. they were all laying crazy before, this male attacked them all. But yeah, I feel like something wasn't right. So my father-in-law doesn't have this issue, so I'm not really sure how we got to it or what we're doing wrong. Maybe. Yeah, I think so. And, that's a big thing. And I mean, we moved 24 hours on the road with, our chickens and our ducks and our quails and our rabbits and like the whole farm.
Yeah, that could have stressed them out enough to maybe just make it happen. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, and we built them like this beautiful enclosure, and it's kind of more of a natural habitat. So it's, on the grass and we can move it, but, they've got like some plants and hay bales in there to kind of, dig in and, do whatever they want. So they seem pretty happy, but yeah, I feel like you're probably right with those stress hormones coming out. I think it maybe just ruined them. So we're going to try, the Japanese quail. I think we might skip it this year. But my husband really wants to raise quail, so we're definitely going to give it another shot.
Definitely something I really enjoyed doing. I mean, they've been I like raising quail. It's just they're easy and the meat is great. The eggs are great. I really have no complaints about quail. I just think it's one of the best livestock, especially on a small scale. One of the best livestock you can raise. Yeah. Well, you got rabbits too.
Yeah, their eggs are so good. Yeah, we had 3. Now we have 1. She's just kind of a homie. She's a freeloader here on the farm. She was, I actually rescued all 3 of them from this farm down the road, and they were all in pretty rough shape. So I've raised rabbits my whole life. That is one thing I've done, but it's been more as pets. My mom kind of raised us breeding rabbits, which was cool. They were all pets though. So this one that we have now is a pet. She came to me with a broken leg, that never healed. It doesn't hurt her, but it's not right. And she was poorly bred where her spine is just kind of wacky. Like she has like big dips in her spine, and she's healthy, but she's definitely not like a breeding stock rabbit.
Yeah, she gets to provide fertilizer for the garden if nothing else, huh?
Exactly. Yep. That's what we use her for. But yeah, we are going to build a giant rabbit pen. We do want to get into rabbits as well. My father-in-law does rabbits. My husband wants to do rabbits as well. And so rabbit meat is awesome too. Yeah. We could probably hunt for them here, but we should do some hunting, but we're not really big hunters. But man, we've got deer in our yard every single day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy out here. We have deer, coyotes, squirrels, rabbits all day, every day. They just taunt the dogs, really. But
have you had a lot of predator pressure from the coyotes thing? I mean, you had problems with anything killing your animals, or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Not so much coyotes that we can tell. There's recently, in the past month or so, there's been one solo coyote, and those are usually the ones you have to worry about, at least from what everyone talks about. But he's been on our property every day, so he doesn't really go near the chickens, weirdly. He's mostly hunting in our field. We see him like pouncing on mice or whatever he's trying to catch. We let our dogs out when he comes around, and we have pretty big dogs, so they do a pretty good job of scaring him off as far as coming too close. But we do have a lot of problems with like possums getting into our chicken coop, and some raccoons as well. Those are our biggest predators for our chickens. We've lost in hawks and owls. Hawks and owls actually is probably the number one. We've lost, at least 7 chickens to hawks or owls. It's pretty bad out here. And we've tried a lot of things. We've tried putting the DVDs or, CDs into the trees. Right now we have fishing line that goes over top of our giant run. So in the winter we put them in a run, just to protect them from.
Yeah. Do you keep roosters at all, or?
Yeah. Yep. We have 3 roosters right now, and they've been good for nothing. So,
they don't really do much protection, huh?
No, yeah, they're really docile. They're loud, but they're really they're kind of good roosters, I would say, to have around, because they're doing their duties as far as the females go, And they're also, I think they're protecting a little bit, but we actually have a goose who does more of the work than any of the roosters. Yeah, and she's actually a nice goose too. So we just got lucky with nice roosters and a nice goose. But we have them kind of separated because we rescued these 6 chickens and the goose together. So we have them in separate areas right now, but they're right next to each other. They can see each other through the fence and all that. And we have never lost a bird from the flock with the goose. So we lose a bird with the flock with the roosters, at least once a month, I would say. Wow. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And
I never really even
we've tried
thought
everything
about a
as far as
goose
prevention goes. We've talked about like a large guardian dog coming onto the property, especially once we have, the cows and everything else. So we're thinking about adding that on at some point. But right now we're not losing enough to have it be, a huge loss.
Yeah, one here and there. I mean, it's understandable and probably reasonable. Yeah, when you start getting like whole flocks getting wiped out in a night, that's when things get really serious. Yeah. Yeah,
and we had that happen almost once, but it was possums, and we just had 3 possums like invade our flock and get into the coop, and they, they're the worst because they just kill the chickens. They don't do anything, and eat all the eggs, and so they just killed a bunch of our chickens, and we actually had to get them out of our coop and take care of them because they were just really nasty.
Oh yeah, I've had them get. I've had my pins and stuff. I had them get them with the quail a couple times. Had some. Yeah, possums and coons are really the only thing I have to worry about around here. But yeah, I've had them get in there a couple times. They rip chicken wire right apart if you have just using that.
Yeah. Yeah, when we first got our quail too, we lost 3 of them, and you could see that they were pulled through the chicken wire. Yeah. So there was evidence of that, and that we expected that was raccoons as well. And yeah, they're pretty bad, and they're huge out here. They really are well fed out here, so they're big old things.
Yeah, well, that's good. They get a lot of their stuff from the wilds. It does keep a lot of the pressure off your farm more so.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, we see them more, this time of year in the summer. We don't see them as much, so kind of a good thing too.
So what's your overall goal with your farm? I mean, are you pursuing be full time one day, or is it always going to be just feed yourself and a little bit of extra money, or what are you looking to do?
Yeah, we really hope to be full time someday. I think that's kind of the ultimate goal, is to just, make a living that's comfortable while still providing, our family with food and the community as well. We really want to get into the education side of the community. We've had a lot of interest with that as far as people wanting to come and learn, all sorts of things homesteading. I do a lot of soap making and canning and candle making and all that stuff. And people are so interested in, learning how to preserve your food and make your own natural products kind of thing. And so we're just hopefully going to move into a little bit more of an education side eventually. But yeah, we'd like to both work full time. We still work full time right now, full time jobs, and do the farm. So we'd like to move in. Obviously I'm due in June, so I'll be taking off, and we're going to see how that goes for a while for the summer and see, if it's doable to have one of us be full time. And, but yeah, the ultimate goal is for sure to be both full time on the farm and, hopefully be able to just do this as a living. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you say you're wanting to have more of a kind of an educational lean, help people learn this lifestyle and stuff, I mean, you talking about doing classes and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. We have a pretty big barn here on the property. Actually, it's more like a Morton building than a barn, but it's able to be built out into kind of like a classroom setting. Oh, yeah. So I was supposed to teach a chicken course this year, but we had issues running in with space, and I wanted to provide chicks and chickens to explain everything. So it actually ended up being a book. So I'm just finishing that up now for people in the community that wanted to be a part of this class that I was going to offer. And then in the next 2 years, we hope to build out that barn into like a little classroom area where we're able to hold, just anything that people want to learn, that's doable, and show them the farm and how stuff works. And people are just, becoming more and more interested. And, it's really cool to have a community that wants to be involved and that wants to learn, and that's kind of pushing us in this direction, which is not something we ever expected we'd be doing, but
yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
That's really encouraging too, when you just got other people really interested in what you're doing. And, when people are fighting you on what you're doing, things are always harder, but you got people who are encouraging you to do new things and try new things and wanting to learn from you. And that's super encouraging.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely also get the people that, I've had like rabbit activist groups like message me and be like, you're abusing your rabbits. They're outside. I'm like, but rabbits are from the outdoors, man, but they're like, you're abusing your rabbits. I'm like, no, my rabbits are super healthy and happy. But yeah, so we get both of it from, some people just don't understand, how this goes, and that's okay too. But
yeah, when you put yourself out there and you're in the community, even online spaces, you definitely are going to get some of that for sure.
Oh yeah. I think it's, inevitable that somebody's not going to agree with what you're doing. So
yeah, the worst trouble I've had has been, I don't do a lot of YouTube videos, but when I do them, I seem like I always get those trolls that want to come in and just kind of try to wreck my day.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're just like, okay, if they have nothing better to do. So
evidently. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're doing some really good stuff there. I mean, I'm always encouraged when I hear people, growing their own food and they're trying to, just feed their family better. But when they're even stepping out and trying to encourage others and teach others, that's just a whole other step. And I'm really glad to hear you're doing that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we're really excited. And, it's like I said, it's really just about our community. They've just really bumped us to a level that we didn't, expect to go, and we're all about it. So it's exciting that people are just so interested. And, we live pretty close to a major town, but we're still about, 15, 20 minutes out of town. So, people will come all the way out here just to pick up eggs just because they want to see the farm and interact with the animals and stuff like that. And so it's awesome. We love doing this. And, growing our own food, our garden is going to explode this year, which everybody is excited about, us included. Yeah. So we're really stoked on that. We're going to try growing gourds this year, which I don't know if you've tried. And from the research I've done, I don't know if, it's going to go well up here.
I've had trouble with it. I tried last year to grow a couple different varieties, and they didn't do real well. Yeah.
No, yeah.
But nothing really did well last year, so it's hard to gauge that.
Yeah, I know. And that's the other thing. So we're really trying to grow loofah, which I was just blown away when I figured out that loofah was a gourd. I don't know. I was like, how have I gone?
That's kind of a thing last year. It seemed to be kind of a thing, didn't it? It's like you were seeing everybody talk about loofah gourds everywhere and showing how they were taking them and stuff and doing things with them. And I was like, it really blew up. You never really heard about it. And then it seemed like in the last year or maybe two, it just seemed like they blew up.
Yeah, definitely. I think I watched, one of them on someone who's growing them on YouTube, and I was just blown away that they were even a gourd. I was like, what? Loofahs are a gourd? I was like, how did I not know this my whole life?
I think I've known it a long time, but it just seemed like last year I've seen a lot of people actually doing it, and you see the whole process on YouTube videos and Facebook and things like that. People were just talking about it everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're really cool, so every time I tell people like, oh, we're growing loofah, they're like, growing loofah? I'm like, yeah, it's a gourd. And they're like, what? I'm like, I know, right?
I know, it just looks like some factory manufactured thing when it's
totally. Yeah. Or I've had a lot of people be like, I thought they were from the sea. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But so we're excited to give that a try. I'm not sure how it's going to do up here because I know they need a long growing season. And we don't have a greenhouse yet. That's also on the list. Do you grow when you tried them, did you do them in your greenhouse or?
No, I just, actually I have like an extension of my grape arbor, and there was kind of an area where I didn't have anything growing. I tried to vine them up through there and stuff, but they didn't grow very well. I never got any actual gourds at all. I just had vines and leaves started up, but they never really grew that well.
Yeah, I'm kind of expecting that to happen with us too, but I don't know. I guess, it all depends on how our weather's going to be, and hopefully it's hot and sunny, and we'll get some out of that because it'd be cool. But yeah, I know they do better in the south, so in the tropical weather more so.
Yeah, all you can do is try. I mean, like I said, a lot of people are growing them in the United States. I just don't know. Like I said, last year's growing conditions just weren't ideal for hardly anything, it seemed like. I mean, we got a lot of greens, but like everything else just didn't do great. It was just the way it started off really rainy, and then it got really hot, and it was just, I don't know, wasn't great for anything. Yeah. Hopefully this year a lot better. Yeah, we were kind of the same there.
Yeah, I hope it's better too. I mean, we were pretty much the same as you. We got tons of lettuce and kale and stuff like that, but our beans did terrible, our tomatoes did terrible, our cucumbers did okay. We grew lemon cucumbers last year, and we got a ton of those, and the grapes, but even our peppers were pretty bad. We didn't have a lot, and my herb garden was terrible too. So
I have that small greenhouse, and I did okay on peppers because I had peppers and tomatoes outside, but I also had them growing in the greenhouse all year.
Yeah,
and everything in the greenhouse did really well. So we still had a decent crop, but everything out of there just didn't do very good. But that rain, that just proved to me it was the rain that was causing all that problem.
Totally. Yeah, it was so. And our land we have like a couple of different gardens, but one of our gardens is in our backyard. That's in a little fenced off area, and that area tends to flood in front of there. And so we had a lot of problems with it just being too wet a lot of the time, and you could tell our tomatoes hated it. And it was just kind of, we didn't really get, as far as tomato crop goes, we planted, I think 17 or 18 like just cherry tomato plants, and we got nothing. So
really? Wow. Usually those do pretty good. But we had quite a few cherry tomatoes. Those seem to be more resilient than other varieties.
Totally. Yeah, and they were terrible. They were so, I mean, we got a harvest off of them. It wasn't much, but it was just so bad. So now, hopefully we're definitely praying for a good one.
Now, do you usually sell any vegetables? I mean, you talk about selling the plants. Do you sell any vegetables normally, or are you planning on doing that?
Yeah. We'll sell vegetables. We're really big on like making sure our family gets fed first, and that's, our immediate family, and then, my parents and, everybody else who's around us, but, my brothers and stuff like that. But then after that, we definitely sell them. I work at a restaurant in town, so it's nice because I pretty much can send out a message to everyone who works there, and they buy most of our stuff really that we have extra.
So just word of mouth selling pretty much.
Yeah. And when we have enough, I post it on the Facebook. But right now we're just starting to get enough eggs to feed everybody, and so now when I have an extra carton or two, I'll just bring them to work, and I have no problem selling them there. But once we are exploding with eggs, which definitely by next year, hopefully this year, I think everybody's starting to, we had a couple months there where we weren't getting any eggs, and now everybody's starting to lay again. So hopefully, by the end of the summer, we'll have tons of eggs.
Yeah, are you thinking in the future, like setting them at farmers markets or CSA or anything like that? Or plans in that direction?
Yeah, farmers markets for sure. I'm not sure about a CSA yet. But definitely farmers markets. We're going to jump into that this year, but our farmers markets around here are amazing as well. And the only issue is the baby. So we were
right. Yeah, it's going to be a strange year. It's going to be an adjustment year for you for sure.
Yeah, exactly. We were like, we're already taking on a lot, and here we get penalized if you don't, if you can't make a weekend, which is totally understandable. But
I was just curious we were like future plans and how you'd be selling them in the future and stuff.
Yeah. So it's going to help us just kind of see what we get this year. We're definitely expanding our garden pretty big. We're going from probably about, I don't know. I'm so bad at like distances, probably like a quarter acre to an acre. So it's huge this year.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Yeah. So we plan on doing a lot of selling this year because I can't possibly can all of that.
You're making a lot of stuff too. You say you're doing.
Yeah. We make a lot of stuff here. I do a lot of, on the canning side, I do a lot of sauces and jams and jellies that we've sold. This winter we did a winter market that we sold like Christmas jam and stuff like that. So I do a lot of that, and I do a lot of soaps. I make a lot of soap. That's something that I just started recently. The winters here in the Midwest can get pretty long, so I try and stay busy and find other sources of income. But yeah, I started making soap, and that kind of blew up in the community. So, just in the past 2 weeks, I've landed like 2 accounts in a coffee shop and then another store downtown. So I have just like the soap selling thing all of a sudden, which really I just made it for us. And, everybody wanted to try it. And now I have it on Etsy, and it's going great. And I'm selling
I was getting ready to ask you if you were just doing that local, if you were selling them, on Etsy or anything. Yeah, great.
Both. Yeah, so it's cool. And then it gets us out a little bit more, too, because, these local shops put up a little information about us, and, it's kind of nice. So, yeah, soap has been a big thing. And then I do just a lot of other little farmhouse crafty things. We've been remodeling our house slowly, very slowly, especially in the winter. I should say my husband remodels it. I decorate it. So I have to give him credit there. I definitely do not do any of the remodeling. I can hardly paint. So yeah,
you do the important part. You point and tell him what to do, and he just does it. That's the important part. Anybody can build it, but it's only certain people have the vision. So.
That's true. The problem is he has both. So. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. No, he's great. He's amazing at what he does, and he does just beautiful work. And so we've been doing that, and then I make a lot of, decor for the rooms, and then people are asking me to get this personalized decor and all this stuff. So it's just kind of like naturally formed into another income, which is cool as well. Because I love doing, little crafting kind of stuff. And
you're using your Etsy store for some of this too? Or?
Yeah. Oh, I started an Etsy store just, I don't even know, like 2 months ago, maybe. Awesome. I think I tried to start one a few years ago, and I never, actually put anything on there. But yeah, like 2 months ago, I started an Etsy store, and now it's, I'm selling a lot more locally than I am on Etsy, but yeah, I've had a lot of friends from all over the country, buy a bunch of my stuff, and yeah, it's been really cool.
Well, send me the link to that, and we'll try to make it so you can get it out there a little bit more. For sure, I'll get that in the show notes for you.
Thanks. Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely send you a link to that. But yeah, it's been fun. It's crazy how fast we've jumped into this, like, full throttle. And even with canning, I just learned how to can this past year, and it's been super successful and awesome, and I'm obsessed with it. It's exhausting, though, as I think as well.
Yeah, it can be a lot of work, for sure.
Oh, gosh, yeah. After days in the kitchen, just like everything hurts, your back hurts, just like, oh, gosh.
Probably be worse this year.
Yeah, I know, seriously. Hopefully it's worse this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's cool because my family is, they're very opposite of me. My family is very heavy in the medical field. They're very successful in the medical field, but they did, years and years of college, and just kind of went straight into the, typical work life, and for me to be doing this, they've all started to really enjoy it. And, that's my mom is so huge on coming over. She wants to learn, I just taught her how to make soap, and she wants to learn how to can and how to make jams and jellies. So it's really fun to even just get my family involved in learning how to do all this kind of, self-sustainable stuff, and, hopefully one day just be totally self-sufficient.
Now, the thought comes to my mind, you're mentioning that your family is very big in the medical field and stuff, and you're doing this stuff more from a naturalistic, herbal, healthy food type. Do you see any conflict there, or do they see any conflict there? Do you have any trouble with that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In the beginning, totally. Yeah. When I first was diagnosed with my PCOS, and I had to have the surgeries to remove tumors from my ovaries. There was no way to stop that. But, after that, they wanted to prescribe me all this, not my parents, but, my doctors and my parents, along with them, wanted to prescribe me all this medication. And all this, stuff that had just these crazy side effects. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it, so then they definitely got pretty upset about that. And, I'm pretty stern when it comes to like what goes in my body. So I was like, I'm not doing it. And now they've conformed. Now they've accepted and they know like who I am now, like that I'm not going to do, we don't really have, my parents are actually kind of moving into the naturalistic way, which is kind of cool to see. But at first they were definitely like, modern medicine. And I was all like taking, St. John's wort and like, looking into herbalism and all that stuff. Yeah. So we disagreed for a long time, but they've definitely come around and they're, starting to realize that it's not, the pharmaceutical industry is terrifying, and I think they're starting to realize that.
And you know what? I'm not dead against all modern medicine or anything like that because, man, millions of lives have been saved by it. No doubt about it, and just the knowledge and the wisdom that's involved in the medical community now. I mean, I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And I've seen what I consider miracles happen through that. But but you can't throw out a lot of the old things either. There's a lot of good. I mean, it's like, it's with a lot of people, it's all or nothing. And I think there's some middle ground there. We definitely need to take advantage of all avenues of that. Yeah. Sure.
I mean, I totally agree with you. I don't think, herbal medicine can fix everything. It's, there's definitely modern medicine is, it's science. There's a lot of really good information there for sure. So yeah, I would totally agree with you. I think there's some things that, one can do that the other can't, or that's just a better option, but you have to do what's necessary and what's right for you and your health, so
every case
there's some
is
things that nature can't fix.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm glad that, there's some ground. I also wanted to bring it up because I'm just glad to see there's some meeting in the middle there and some ground being opened up on both sides to where, the medical community starting to see a little bit of truth in more of the natural, healthy eating and even herbal remedies and things like that. And on the other side, that I'm hoping that a lot of people who are just hardcore herbal fixes everything are starting to see that, it's maybe not the case that there is some times when you have to see a doctor, or
totally.
I'm glad to see some middle ground in that for sure.
Yeah, it's cool to see us interact now, and we used to be so opposite in our way of thinking, and now we can openly have conversations about things like herbalism and even just medical marijuana now that especially in Illinois, now that it's become legalized, but it's been medical for a while. I think my parents are getting more education on it in their field, which is kind of cool. And then also just like nutrition, like my dad. So my dad is a doctor. He's in internal medicine. He's been in practice for, I don't even know, like 35 years or something now. And he said, he went to 12 years of college. And he said in those 12 years, he had 12 credit hours of nutrition. And that was it. Yeah. So he's like, just like I feel like I've taught him a lot because he's done a lot with his health as far as, making it better just with food too. And he's like, man, I wish I learned some of this, and that's the thing, that I hope changes in that, in the internal medicine field is I hope they get more education on nutrition.
I think it's coming around. Even if they're not getting it in school, they're definitely they're pursuing it outside of school a lot. I mean, as their practices go on. Because I just had a doctor visit the other day, and I was in there for a half an hour talking to that doctor, and I bet you 20 minutes of our conversation was about food and eating this and eating that, and and that, it was good to hear that instead of just prescribing medicines to compensate for things. He was talking about food.
Totally.
I like that. I like seeing things go in that direction.
Definitely. Yeah. My grandma just, she actually just had a blood pressure scare that landed her at the doctor, and her doctor told her to go on a plant-based diet. And so when she told me that, I was just like, wow, really? Like, that's so cool. Like, yeah, it's cool to see them, learning, whereas, I feel like 20 years ago it wasn't really a thing. Yeah,
they just threw a bunch of medicine at you, and then you'd have been getting more medicine for all the side effects. And,
totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another pill for that, and then a pill for that. Right. Yeah. So I think it's cool now to see, and my grandma even said, I was so interested, she said he's like an older, more traditional doctor. So it's cool to see them moving, into the healthy food side of things.
Absolutely. So
which is cool.
Well, sounds like you're doing your part in teaching folks about that and doing all that stuff there. I mean, you're going to be teaching some classes, it sounds like. And, did you say you're putting out a book?
Yeah. I'm actually releasing the book, I think, on Tuesday.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Available where? Is that going to be available at?
Yeah, so I'm going to have it available as a PDF download on my Etsy.
Okay.
I'll announce it on our Facebook too, and probably
Awesome.
link it up there. But it'll be released as a PDF file for now.
Okay, great. Yeah.
And it's just a really basic, like, early beginner guide to raising chickens. Very conversational format, pretty relaxed, and my grandma actually did the art for it, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
So,
definitely get that out there. Yeah, I'm sure that'll do a lot of people, interested in heading down this path. Or I'm sure that could be a great benefit for them.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it'll be awesome.
Well, yeah, I'm glad to hear all the things you're doing there, and it sounds like you've got a nice little growing farm, and maybe it won't be too long at all before it turns into a full-time business for you.
Yeah, I hope so. That'd be really amazing. We love doing it, so it's so much fun. We can't get away from it.
Yeah, well, I know it is something that people who don't live this lifestyle, I just don't think they know what they're missing.
Oh, totally. And when you get into it, you're sucked in. It's like,
oh yeah.
It's addicting.
If you don't want to go down this path, don't get a chicken, right? That's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Because you'll be full blown in no time.
Farm. Yeah. I actually just went into our feed store yesterday, and they were like, "Hey, did you see our new chicken room?" And my husband looked at me, and I was like, "Oh boy!" And I walked in, and I had like 15 chickens picked out. He's like, "Put them back. We're getting 30." And I was like, "Okay."
Piled up in your arms, trying to walk out with them.
Yeah, seriously. I was all ready. He's like, "No, put them away." I was like, "Oh man."
Go slow.
Yeah,
you can get there, but
yeah,
slow.
Exactly.
Well, I'm really glad you came on to talk to us about all this today, and we'll definitely get some links to your new book and your Etsy store and your Facebook page. And I just love everything you're doing there. It sounds like you're going to be doing a lot of big things over the next 2 or 3 years even. So we'll keep our eye on all the things you're doing for sure.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm so happy I was able to talk with you. I've been listening to you for a long time.
Yeah, well,
Awesome.
we went away for a while, came on back here, but
I know, I got worried,
and
then I heard your story. I heard what happened.
Yeah.
But when you disappeared for a minute, I was like, what? And then I went on the Facebook group and kind of. Yeah, but I'm glad you're back. I'm glad that it didn't stop you.
Well, I'm glad you decided to come on and tell us your story, because there's so many inspiring stories like this that need to be out there, and need to be heard, and,
totally.
and encouraging folks to get out there. And it's part of why I want to keep this thing going. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Well, we appreciate you. So
well, thank you. Well, I'll let you get on with your day, and congratulations on the baby coming, and hopefully a better farming season.
Yeah, I hope so for you too.
Thank you. Well, it was good talking to you. We'll talk to you soon.
Good talking to you too. All right, sounds good.
Well, I know you enjoyed that interview with Jillae and everything she had to say, and I will definitely drop those links to her Facebook page, her Instagram, her Etsy store in the show notes. So go check that out. She's doing some really cool stuff, and I went to her Etsy store and was checking out some stuff. She had some really neat looking soaps there, and I think you're really going to like that. So go check that out and give her some business. I think she'll appreciate that, and I think you won't be disappointed with what you're getting. So give it a look. Of course, you can find all that information either in the app of wherever you're playing the podcast, or you can go to the website at haroldthornbrough.com and go to podcasts there, and also find the show notes there for all the episodes. So I really appreciate you joining me this week. And as the weather warms up and spring approaches and planting season nears, I just hope that you'll get out there and get some stuff in the ground and start growing some food, start raising some animals, maybe depending on where you're at, and start homesteading and get busy with it. And until next time, happy homesteading and God bless. I hope you enjoyed this episode. To learn more or find more episodes, just head on over to haroldthornbrough.com. Thanks for listening.